Cause we pound for pound, UFC thrills, stills nights get loud, big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday after UFC Vegas 120. Mateusz Gamrot versus Quillan Salkilld. Pretty damn good fight. Some really good fights on that card overall. And yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for? There was some decisions mixed in there, but for the most part, we had some pretty good fights, and I thought it was a decent fight night. I was kind of doing stuff in the mix of watching it as well as just multitasking, and yeah, the fights had my attention, and I even missed one fight. That was the Darren Elkins fight. I was like, I went on a commercial. I went to watch something else that was happening while I was out of the house. Next thing I know, I was like, oh shit, I forgot to switch back to the fights, and then I realized I missed a fight, so I went and looked it up and saw that it was a quick one, and I got to watch it on a highlight because it was that fast. So yeah, man, not too bad of a night of fights. It was kind of a weird card. Like every time I looked it up, it was like changing. It felt like there was constantly like something being added or something, which was why on Thursday I was like, trying to struggle and get things done right before the stream. Luckily, I was out of town last week, but I had good Wi-Fi. And hey, what's going on, Xavier? Welcome back, man. I meant to ask you, I hope I'm saying it right, because you know what I mean? Like, it could be Javier. You just spell it with an X, but I figure I see Xavier, and it's, I see X and I say Xavier, but hopefully you haven't corrected me yet, so I'm assuming it's correct. But anyway, yeah, Thursday I had decent Wi-Fi, so that was good. One of the few times I was able to completely stream off of the Wi-Fi at the hotel, which is weird because that wasn't like the best place ever, but you gotta love it when you have good Wi-Fi at least. So other than that though, I mean, it was a rough week at work, but we got a lot done, and a couple guys have to go back this week coming up, but tomorrow and stuff. But luckily we got enough done to where but if gents call me, oh, okay, got you. Well, that's cool, man. I mean, some people get all, like I used to get annoyed when people would spell my name incorrectly because there's multiple ways to spell Eric, you know what I mean? But I don't trip anymore. It is what it is. It's like, yeah, whatever. If it needs to be legit for whatever reason, I'll correct it. But other than that, yeah, you can spell it with a K, a C, a CK, whatever. I don't care. Hey, right on. I've been struggling a bit, it seems. Uh-oh. Man, I hope everything's all right, man. Take care of yourself and be good. Like, shit's rolling downhill, but oh well. Yeah, man, just hang in there, bro. You know what I mean? Sometimes, shit goes down, but, there's always a way back up. So don't get too down on yourself, man. Just hang in there and hang on to those things that help you get through it. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that can keep your attention away from all the bullshit, because sometimes it's the best way. It may seem like a waste of time to do other things and pay attention to stuff, but you know what I mean? Sometimes the distractions are the best way to go for a little bit until you can get your mind right and get your mind around things. Believe me, I've been there. I can't wait to buy Ian Chuck Garrick's plant-based vegan cookbook. Johnny always coming in with the funnies, man. Oh yeah, Ian Gary is he just keeps, man, he's going from a chair in the corner to a recliner to a throne. You know what I'm saying? He's taking that spot and running with it. So I guess that's what we got to put up with. Listen, man, he's got great skills in the cage, though. That's all I got to say. So and I'm not gonna lie, I know people have kind of gone bad on him, and I understand why, and I don't disagree, to be honest with you. But the thing is Layla is his public. Yeah, man. No, she's his the string puller in general. Like, he's literally just, yeah, he's just a puppet, man. It's a damn shame. And if he's not, then I mean, he's legit. Yeah, he's a fighter, bro. Listen, he's a fighter. I can't say too much. He can at least defend his I guess he can defend his stances on things. It is what it is. Listen, I don't, he just gets to the point where just you have to understand the line, and it's like, just, you don't have to say all this shit, man. Just keep that to yourself. When you're getting interviewed somewhere for your, personality and your life, thoughts and views, okay, but when it comes to fight, just know your crowd, man. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know the crowd, and you have to be aware of your surroundings and the people that pay attention and listen to you. And the Diaz brothers got away with talking about being vegan for a while, or vegetarians, or whatever the fuck they were. Pescatarians, I don't even know at this point, but people gave them shit and called them pussies here and there. But at the same time, it was like, listen, they can fuck you up regardless. And they claim the gangster mentality and stuff, and they will definitely go at it with you wherever, whenever. So, and on top of all that, they still smoke weed, and they still just kind of do their own thing. And it was always, kind of badass if you were a fan of theirs. I understand if you weren't also, but that's just kind of how it was. So, but Ian Gary is just not helping himself out at all. And I just wonder if things don't work out between him and they are married, right? Yeah. Are they married, or are they just, yeah, because they have a kid. So they're married. And, if for some reason things just don't work out with them, I just wonder if he keeps his stances on all these things. I mean, I know, like you're saying, it's like she's controlling everything he's doing, but it's just a bad look, bro. Bro, I'm fat and drinker. Ha, don't make fun of anyone for their life choices, though. I might. Yeah, no, he's, dude. He had the potential to be maybe not another Conor McGregor, but to be another star out of Ireland. You know what I mean? And he just he doesn't he instead. There's just a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it. Look, you can look at me. I'm not the most in shape. I'm not a professional fighter. I'm not a star in the UFC. But when it comes down to it, though, sometimes just these guys, they take some stances that are fucking ridiculous. I don't mind being called something I hate. Oh shit!
Damn, son.
Oh man. Ian loses his brother and his personal chef. Yeah, man. That's the thing, like, maybe his brother's just a shithead. You know what I mean? That could be the case, but everybody takes his brother's side because, they're thinking his brother's telling the truth about him, instead of, kind of putting up a front like Ian is. So anyway, Johnny for the dub tonight. Yeah. So yeah, his brother just outed him, though. I mean, listen, people change, you know what I mean? People change, and sometimes you can change for the worse, sometimes you can change for the better. He might think he's changing for the better, but I think he's just trying to appease his overbearing wife. So, listen, man, some guys got to deal with that. I have a cool wife that doesn't force me to do any of that bullshit. It's like, if she doesn't agree with me, she just tells me. Hey, what's going on? All is good. Appreciate you for jumping in.
What's happening with you, man?
What's happening with you, man? Hopefully all is good with you. All is good. Yeah, but anyway, the Ian Gary stuff, man, it just never ends. And Brendan Schaub went in on him, and it's just like, damn. I completely understand where he's coming from with it. Brendan goes hard on people sometimes, and I don't feel like it's absolutely necessary, but the more and more I just keep hearing from Ian, the more and more I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So it is what it is. Here's the thing. here's the flip side is that, like I said, I feel like he's a great fighter. I feel like he has a lot of potential to do big things, and I feel like he's fallen short a little bit here and there, but he's in the position he's in to fight for a title for a reason. And I'm giving him an opportunity here and saying that I feel like he has a big chance of winning. And the only reason why I say that is because this has been the year of upsets for guys that have been dominant in their position, whether they're a champion, whether they're just a guy on a big long win streak, something like that. The guys that have been overwhelmingly favored to win a fight have lost fights this year, and that's just kind of feels like an omen that isn't going away this year. So that's what makes me feel like Ian Gary has a chance, because we've seen him be great. You know what I'm saying? All the bullshit aside, all that other shit aside, we've seen him be great. So that's what I think is gives him the possibility to come out with that dub. And, it may feel like maybe you don't want to give him that chance, but I hate to say it, you kind of have to give him that chance. We've seen him do big things, and while he's fallen off a little bit from what he used to do, he's still there. We're going to have a funny sitcom stream for UFC 330. Yeah. Yes, we're definitely going to have I don't know. I have to hit everybody up and find out if they're down to come. If not, then when it comes down to it, I'll be here regardless. So mine and my wife's anniversary is coming up here soon, but we're gonna celebrate on Friday so I can be on the stream on Saturday. We talked about it and we were just like, hey, we can do dinner and stuff on Friday and still do the stream on Saturday. So like I said, I have a cool wife and I hope she really doesn't mind. But yeah, it's we're compromising to make. She knows I love doing this, and she supports me, so I appreciate her for that, and that's why she's the best. So, but yeah, we're definitely having a watch party, whether it's just me and you guys, or it's the guys in here with me and you guys. Either way, we're gonna do the damn thing and watch these fights. So I know it's not the best of cards overall, but I am looking forward to that. To the two main fights, the co-main and the main. I think Mackenzie Dern and Jillian Robertson have a really good potential to be a good fight, because Mackenzie gets hit a lot, and I'm scared for her with that because of how Robertson is such a she's such a beast, man. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I also feel like Mackenzie is at the top of her game right now, and if she can keep that rolling, then it could be some fun transitions and dominant positions on the ground to where we get a good show, and because Robertson is damn good on the ground as well. So this could be hopefully it's not a stalemate boring fight. Hopefully it's exciting. Jillian Robertson is usually an exciting fighter, and Mackenzie's been doing a damn thing too. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, those are your two main fights. Ian Gary versus Islam Makhachev, Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. We got Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Esteban Ribovics always puts on a good fight against Edson Barboza. Old school vet, with those spinning wheel kicks. He's not as accurate and stuff as he used to be, but still interesting to watch fight. Chidi Njokuani versus Joel Alvarez. Vicente Luque versus Tracian Gore. Okay. Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Damn. All right. There's Jalen Turner back versus Cal Fernandez. Miktabek Orobai, always involved in some great fights, versus Jeremiah Wells. And then so those are some of your main decent fights on that card. So not a complete dud. I feel like there's some good potential there. So we'll definitely be having that watch party. Anyway, before we go too much further, let me get a shout out to my sponsor, Noctane Smelling Salts, of course. Dana has to give an update about Zhang during the 3:30 post-fight press conference. Man, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of hanging in there. You know what I mean? That's hanging out there, waiting, wondering. What's up with Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes? That got pushed back. So it's like, do we have an exact date for that yet? When is that happening? What's going on with that? I feel bad for Dakota Ditcheva. Aside from the UFC, she got injured again. She said she was having, thoughts about not being able to even fight again because she was having so many injury problems. And then she came back and broke her hands in her last fight. So crazy stuff, man. The injuries suck. But as far as staying awake and alert, this is what I use. Noctane smelling salts, of course, when I'm driving out of town for work and stuff like that, or just getting ready for the show. I like to take a big whiff of these and get myself nice and awake. And you can find out all the other good reasons to use Noctane smelling salts if you scan that QR code on the screen or click in the link in the description below. It's always there under all of my videos because they are a sponsor. So I support them by, throwing that link in there so you can check it out. And if you see me do the, the salts on the stream, you can go get yourself some as well. There's 3 different potencies, a bunch of different scents you can add to it. You can learn all about it by going and checking out their website. So here we go. Oh, there it is. It's lingering. Woo. Okay. Hey, what's up, Tua? Do you have a fantasy NFL? Do you have an NFL fantasy team? I do partake in fantasy. I do. There is a couple. How am I looking for? There's a couple of, I'm involved in a couple leagues. I'm not the best. And thank you, by the way, Noctane, for the sponsorship. Appreciate you. Woo. I can still smell it. So I do partake in fantasy. I actually am involved in 2 different leagues, usually every year. I'm not the best at it because I kind of forget sometimes. We don't have the, everyone winds up just kind of getting whatever they the drafts don't go down like we're not hardcores. That's for damn sure. So yeah, but I do follow my team. I do try to, keep up with it every single week. I make, changes and stuff to make sure of it. So yeah, it's one of those things. I'm involved, but not as deep as I used to be because I pay too much attention to MMA and I'm always worried about this. So, and I just want to make the show good. So, I don't pay attention to a lot of other stuff, but that's how it goes. I'm waiting to see Valentina Shevchenko lose. Oh man. I do feel like she hasn't been the Valentina of old, where she was exciting and finishing fights and stuff like that, as much, in the recent past, and she's just not as active. But I don't know that I'd call her extremely boring. She's just not as entertaining as she used to be. So, it sucks, but it is what it is. How you handling all the heat? Oh man. Well, last week I was in a different city. Wasn't as hot, but still hot. I went and played golf yesterday. And it got hot at the end, but luckily it wasn't too bad early. I went at about 7:30 a.m. with my pops, which was a good time. I had fun with my dad. And I always like going. He's the reason why I like golf. He's the reason why I'm decent at golf at all, because he taught me how to play. He got me involved in it. And that's one of those things that I appreciate the hell out of from my dad, is that he always was deeply, just he's a good dad in that way. He's involved in the sports. And of course that's the easy thing for the dads to do, is be involved in the sports. But some kids and some people don't even get that. So I appreciate my dad for being so involved in all my baseball throughout the years when I was growing up and teaching me how to play golf. That's one of the things that, holy shit, I just like, I'm grateful all the time that golf was something I got into and that I still do, because I love this. I love playing. I don't really love watching it that much. So as far as my favorite golf player, I mean, I used to be partial to like Phil Mickelson, because I got to see him in person. He was a lefty, so I thought it was a little unique, and I got his autograph and stuff, so that was cool. I didn't, the old school guys like Chichi Rodriguez, guys that my dad taught me about, I thought were cool too. So I didn't have a lot of big, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of golfers, but yeah, I knew about some of them and I would follow some of it. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite for the most part, but it's still cool. It's a cool sport and it's challenging as fuck. It's frustrating as shit too, but you know, for the first time in a long time. Yeah, I mean, I like Tiger. You know, I like DeChambeau too, but you know, it's like long drives and stuff are cool, but you know, that's just that's the normal. You know what I'm saying? That's like me just saying that I love GSP or John Jones as my favorite all-time fighter. I never go with the main person that you would think for the most part. That's just always been me. But I do like and appreciate Tiger Woods for his skill. But it's almost like he's so good that it's like you don't even have to say that you like him. It's just, you know, you appreciate his skill because you appreciate the sport. So there's a lot of guys like that out there. But yeah, if I had to pick, you know, some of the ones I talked about were it. John Daly was always impressive to me, the way that he carried himself, the drinking, playing in barefoot and shit. It's like, that's not the type of dude I really want to like hang around with all the time for the most part. But I do think he's an entertaining motherfucker to watch on TV and watch videos of and shit. So yeah, it's cool. I just appreciate golf. You know, I got playing golf and sports from my dad. My mom showed me how to play. I saw play. My mom showed me how to cook, so I appreciate her for that. That's one of the things that I'm grateful for every day, that my mom taught me how to cook. And that's something I made a living off of for a long time, as well as continue to this day practicing and doing is cooking. So yeah, it's awesome. John Daly's having fun. Yeah, he always is, man. That's what I like about him. Who would win, Orolbai or Amosov? I don't know, man, but I definitely want to watch that fight. That would be a damn good fight. But as far as who I think would win, I'm not sure. I think I'd probably have to lean on Amosov on that one, just because Orolbai, he's had his ups and downs and stuff. So I just think Amosov might be a little more skilled than Orolbai in the overall perspective. So. But anyway, yeah, let's get to this. Let's get to what we're here for. Let me take a sip here now that I have my old fashioned today, finally. And yeah, let's get started talking about what we're here for. And I did want to touch on this. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. You know, UFC 331, we finally have the full lineup. Joshua Van versus Alexandre Pantoja, happening in the championship flyweight, finally getting that rematch after Pantoja was injured and Joshua Van won the title because of the injury. Either way, I feel like Joshua Van's a great fighter, and I think that's going to be a great fight because Van does get into trouble a little bit, and Pantoja's the guy to bring it to him. And I wonder how hungry he's going to be to come back and get his title back. So I've got some tall can earthquakes right on it, Xavier. Cheers to you, brother. I'm going to take another sip just for that. I think we got Patty versus Charles in November. Yeah, you know, because the whole, you know, Armin was supposed to be fighting Charles. That was the thing. That was what everybody was talking about. That was the rumor. But then with Nascimento passing away tragically, apparently, you know, Charles was so close with him that it's just affected him too much. So the possibility of that fight just, you know, isn't there anymore. So Arman Tsarukyan is now facing Mauricio Hufi. There's a lot of talk about how Hufi is, you know, not the opponent that Tsarukyan should be fighting. He doesn't deserve a big fight like that. But, you know, Arman is just so inactive at this point. It's just nice to finally have him back in there. And while, yes, he should be getting bigger fights, but what can you, I don't know, whatever the UFC has with him, whether it's something against him, the agreement he has, who knows. Armin's just so worried about doing all the other things he's doing with, you know, RAF, with streaming, all the other stuff that he's doing. I just wonder how locked in he's going to be. And I think this is a good fight to find out. Like, is it, you know, people are doubting that Hufi's going to be a good fight for him, but if Hufi gives him trouble, listen, I mean, Hufi doesn't have the best cardio. If he doesn't get you out of there early with some you know, fancy shit, then Arman can probably wear him down and take him into deep waters. But you know, it's just it's not the matchup we wanted. But at the same time, it's been a minute since Arman's been in there, but he looked really good in there the last time he was the last time he fought. So Armin probably getting good money from Raf and streams. Yeah, but I don't think he's worried about the money. You see how he rolls. He rolls deep in the cash. Got the cars, got the watches, got the clothes, PJs, fucking just go, traveling everywhere. I don't think Hoofy wasn't able to stop BSD wrestling. Exactly, man. And that's why everybody has their thoughts on Hoofy fighting Sarukian, because they feel like it's not the best matchup for him, considering, the fact that he probably should already be getting a title shot, but he just is so inactive. It just hasn't worked out. So who knows? Gary versus Luke Thomas personality tier. I mean, they're a bit in the same category with some things. I think Luke Thomas is a really intelligent guy. I just don't like the way he takes himself too seriously. That's something I try not to do. I know we talk about some heavy, serious shit here sometimes, and I do like to give my opinion on things just because it's stuff that I've learned. Anything I say is something that I've probably been through and I've learned, and I get serious about it sometimes just because. But you guys always bring me out of that quickly because somebody will make a comment or something, and that's cool because I don't want this to be like a completely I don't want this to be a completely overly serious, thing. We're here to have fun and talk some shit and talk about the fights. So it's cool. I think he's an intelligent guy. He's very knowledgeable, and I like his breakdowns and shit. But there's other things about him that kind of rub me the wrong way. So that's just me, though. You know what I'm saying? Which Bruce Buffer fighter announcements are your favorite? Like, for example, people think him announcing TJ Dillashaw was cool. Yeah, I think when he does the really big stars like Connor and John Jones and Poatan and stuff like that, I think it's cool because the one and only comes out or something like that. When he did GSP, and he was always so overly hyped for GSP, being that GSP was such a great Luke is not funny at all. He doesn't, anything that somebody says it's funny to him, he makes you feel like you're stupid. So that one is kind of I get why you would say Luke is not funny. I bet Armin is a greedy individual. Oh, I'm sure he is, but I don't think he's hurting for the money. Like, I don't think it's so much that he's gonna be like, I'm not gonna show what I have in the UFC so that I can go make all this other money over here. I just think that it's easy for him to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna make this money over here, even though they're not giving me the fight. I don't know. I would really love to know what the fucking issue is there, and what the UFC has against him. Or, he did kind of fuck up his one chance, and I think that that's what they're still holding up against him when everybody talked about, Nina drama, fucking making him hurt his back or something. But, when he pulled out of that fight is when the downhill trajectory started for him with the relationship between him and the UFC. So that's the biggest problem. It's been very, very slow rolling for him. And I don't know if that's a lot of his problem or a lot of the UFC's problem with him. But either way, when it comes down to it, I feel like he's too good of a fighter to be slow rolled as much as he has been, to be as inactive as he has been. I think he needs to fight more, and he needs to show and prove if he's going to be a champion or not. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts on Armin. And I would love to see him live up to his full potential in the UFC, but he's got to get more active, and he's got to fight the real the matchmakers. Don't forget, that's for goddamn sure. But Dana White doesn't forget either. So if Joe Silva was still around, that motherfucker would be all over his ass, because I heard Joe Silva was nothing but a ginormous dickhead. Even though he was a little Napoleon type dude, he had the complex for sure. So he let that power get to his head. I agree, them boys like elephants. Anyway, we got Patricio Pitbull versus Duho Choi fighting. Third fight down on that one. Renato Moicano versus Brian Ortega could be interesting. I'm still waiting for them to make that Yair and Brian Ortega made me think of that Yair and Diego Lopez fight, but now that Yair is fighting Jean Silva, I guess that's not happening still. But Yeah, who knows? Alonzo Menefield versus Iwo Bernowski. Holy fuck. I think Iwo's gonna just run through Alonzo. I know Menefield is he's an impressively looking guy. He's in great shape, but he gets hit a lot, and he's not that impressive when it comes to his overall skills, especially against higher level opponents. I don't know that Baranowski is a higher level opponent, but I do think he's a marauder that comes at you and brings that war to you. And I think that this is going to be a messy fight for Menefield, unless he finds a way to just shut that shit down and make Baranowski fight his fight. John Silva should be fighting Sterling. Yeah, I think that probably would have been a damn good fight, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is. Then we got Gable Stevenson versus Sean Sharaf. Obviously Gable, they're slow rolling him a little, which is good, because I don't like it when they just catapult them, especially because you can see some holes in Gable's game in MMA when it comes to the higher level opponents, just by what we saw in his first appearance in the UFC. But of course, he still got it done early, and he still got it done quick. So, when he has these lower level opponents, he's going to be able to do that, but he's got to work his way up, and we got to see some progression in those skills. So I'm waiting to see that, and I hope that they slowly progress him instead of, shooting him up to the top just because of his name and his popularity and who he trains with. You know what I'm saying? Thriller Miller becoming a favorite of mine. Yeah, man. Yeah, she's definitely, if you're talking about, because there's two Millers, right? There's two Millers on this card, if that's what you're talking about. So are you talking about female Miller, or I would assume female just by saying that name, but yeah, she's definitely Ty Miller. Okay. I wasn't sure, because she likes to spam the whole Jason mask and stuff. So, but Ty Miller, I didn't even realize that was anyway, yeah, he's definitely impressive. That was a good showing from him. I can't wait to see Gable versus Hokit in 2028 for the heavyweight title. She probably drinks a lot of Miller Lite. She's a wild one, man. She's a wild one. But yeah, Ty Miller, damn good showing this past weekend, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. We got Chito Vera versus Charles Jourdain. Dude, that could be a fucking good fight too. Jim Miller must be a proud father. Watch both daughter and son. Yeah. So many Millers. Yeah, so that's your main card there. Pretty good fights for 331. And then the prelims, you got some decent fights here, except for this fucking first one. Tai Tuivasa versus Robelis Despain. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I know I talked about this. Joey Miller is also 1-0 against public honors. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa versus Robelis Despain. I mean, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? Talk about really wanting to get rid of Tai. That's kind of what this feels like. Or it's, who knows? Maybe it's a way to get him back on track, because they don't have any real confidence in Despain, even though they brought him back. You know what I mean? They did bring him back for the good showings that he had in karate combat and stuff. Tai still won't be cut if he loses. Yeah, probably not, but who knows, man. Glad they're giving Robelis a layup. Imagine Tai turns into a wrestler. Imagine Tai just comes out and knocks him the fuck out, because look at what Despain did in his showing in the UFC before. He didn't do much. And if Tai just comes out there and fucking whoops his ass, that would be kind of hilarious, to be honest with you. I don't really like Despain that much. He's one of those guys, especially when he's fighting somebody that I do like in Tai. I just don't have faith in Tai's skills because of what he's done in the past and this nasty, just disgusting streak that he's on. But he's shown, he knocked down Cyril Gahn. He's had some other big showings in there, so it's not all a wash for him. It's just he hasn't been able to win, so that's just what makes it bad. But we'll see how that goes. Edmund Shabazian versus Bruno Ferreira, pretty good there. Giga Chikadze versus Joanderson Brito. Casey O'Neill versus Eduardo Mora. That should be a pretty fucking good fight. King Casey O'Neill is impressive as all hell, and I like watching her fight. So yeah, they want Tai to be on a 65. Yeah, they're trying to break that record of fucking Tony Ferguson's losing streak, I guess. And then we got Ryan Gondra versus Ozzy Diaz, and Michael Aswell Jr. versus Joo Song Yu. So not too bad there. Pretty good fight fight card for UFC 331. Definitely better than 330 overall, if you ask me. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's fucking go with a card, poor gamer. Oh man, yeah. Ty's only 32, which is basically 28 for heavyweights. That's the thing, man, and that's why I hate seeing him go down the way that he's gone down. And you know, I really hope he can find his way back. But how much faith do I have in him being able to get a win, even if he pulls a win out of his ass against Spain? I mean, what can we really expect from him after that? I don't know. But it is what it is. At least Tony was washed when he went on. Yeah, man. Yeah, fuck. It's rough. It's rough. Anyway, let's move on to UFC Vegas 120. And we had Mateusz Gamrot versus Quillan Salkilld. And man, yeah, I had faith in Salkilld, and only because of what I've seen him do in the past. Now I know he hasn't had matchups like he had in this one against Gamrot. You know, Gamrot has the wrestling, grappling, you know, the crazy, you know, scrambles, just so much there that could have overtaken and overcome Salkilld, and he had him in some trouble a couple different times. But Salkilld just proved that he, you know, his overall game is good. And, you know, maybe not the best yet, but he's definitely gotten better, or he definitely showed us things that he hadn't showed us in the past. So it was a good showing for him, and we'll definitely get to that one here in a minute. Obviously, like I said, used to think Salkilld was a featherweight. The areas cams make him look so skinny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does kind of look like a smaller dude. Salkilld is the truth. He can become the lightweight champion. Yeah, I think he's definitely got a lot of potential, man. You got to remember, like, you see these head kick knockouts and these one punch knockouts and shit, and you're just like, okay, but what else did they have? And he showed what else he had in this fight, and I was impressed by it. And I feel like that's really putting him on a trajectory to have potential to become a champion for sure. And when you beat somebody like Gamrot, you know, Gamrot's had his ups and downs and stuff, but he's definitely a skilled fighter, and somebody who's not ready for that type of competition can struggle a lot. And Salkilld showed that he was damn ready and at the level to be able to hang with Gamrot and beat him, and he did. So that's what made that good. Oh, I'm so dumb. You know, he said Ty Thriller, and I have that in my notes, like Ty Thriller Miller. I didn't even realize it. It was just, yeah. Salkilld black belt and BJJ despite only training since 2018. Could see him holding the belt. Yeah, man. You know, and here's the thing. You know, like, I know that being a black belt in jiu-jitsu is a high accomplishment and all that stuff, but it doesn't always translate into great, you know, skills in the cage when they fight other guys who are great at, you know, and skilled in the cage with the same level. You know what I mean? Some guys just use it better when it comes to MMA, and I just think that BJJ is obviously a big part of MMA, especially these days, but I don't feel like some guys that are knocking people out especially wind up using that style and using those skills to be able to really translate over into a good win streak and being able to beat higher level opponents. You just don't always see it happen that way. So there was one of those things that Salkilld is just holding in his back pocket, and I think it showed a lot more in this fight, and it did well for him. How about Max versus Salkilld next? I don't know, man. I think he should have, like, that's one of those that's almost like that's a different style of fight. You know what I mean? Because, like, sure he could use that big name former champion win under his belt, but I think that Max is a different type of fighter, and I feel like I wouldn't put Max and Gamrot in the same level, even though Max is kind of, you know, falling off a bit. But I feel like Salkilld could probably use just another good high level opponent around the level of Gamrot or a little bit higher, and I just don't know that I don't think Max should be next Not next. Soon maybe, but not next. So also looks like Quillan has been putting on some muscle. He looks small when facing Jubilee. Looks noticeably stockier now. Yeah, and that's a good thing because that's just going to help him with his power for his striking, and also be able to help him with his strength in the wrestling and grappling areas. So that's definitely a good thing, and it looks like he's doing it correctly. So it's a noticeable difference, but not so much so that it's gonna hinder him. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens sometimes. Only worry for Salkilld is how he paces himself. He's good everywhere, but he seems to get a bit overzealous at times and goes all out the first 2.5 rounds. 100%, man. I think I said that on Thursday too, which is he will come after you and he will fucking go for a kill early, and sometimes that can kill your cardio. Sometimes that can put you at a deficit, especially if you get caught in the mix of trying to catch somebody early on, and sometimes that's to your detriment. But he definitely showed that he can hang, and that he can face some adversity and overcome it, and that's something that you really need to be able to do. So for him to have done that against Gamrot was awesome. Remember when Alex got his black belt in BJJ after he knocked out Hill? Yeah, I never understand those things, man. I feel like if you want to make it a spectacle, then just hold out until he gets a fucking sub. You know what I mean? Like, get the submission. I don't think you should ever get your black belt in the cage unless you submitted somebody or put on a great show in defending submissions and then knocking someone out. You know what I mean? Because the defense is as important as the offense, in my opinion. But if you don't even show any of that and you just knock somebody out and then you get your black belt, is fucking weird. His fight against Gage and Ashmoose showed that he clearly won the first 2 rounds, but slowed noticeably. Yeah, and maybe that's something he's working on. And that might be, him just becoming a more skilled fighter. And he's still young, so he's still got things to learn. If he stopped learning, then that's when they fall short. So hopefully he's just continuing to learn. I got a black belt in karate when I submit someone in a street fight. GRP rule submission required for a higher belt. 100%, man. That's what I think. But I mean, who the fuck am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my opinion. But I just think it's weird when somebody gets their black belt after knocking somebody out in the cage. Like, get a submission. That makes more sense. But didn't Holloway get his black belt after surviving the Oliveira mauling? They just quietly gave it to him, if I remember correctly. I don't fully remember that one, to be honest with you, but that if that's true, I feel like that's a better way to do it. Surviving the mauling is the survival, the defense. That's important. Like I said, that's just as important as the offense, because if you can't defend, you're gonna get tapped quickly. But if you can defend and then also be dangerous with your offense, that's an all-around game. So for them to give it to him quietly too is like, it's like, why does it have to, if you want to make it a spectacle, like I said, just fucking save it until they get that sub. And if it doesn't come, then find that personal good moment with somebody recording in the gym, and then put it on social media and let it get the hype from that. You know what I mean? Imagine you get a black belt your first day at a gym. I like what Mighty Mouse says about earning a black belt in jiu-jitsu. What's that? I don't remember fully. I've heard him say a few different things about that, so refresh my memory and tell me, because I am interested. And I do like hearing. Yes, they did give it to Max. I just looked it up. His BJJ coach gave him the black belt that's surviving all of his. Hell yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, see, I like that, man. That's cool. I mean, it may not have been a big spectacle, and stuff like that, but at least at least he got it, and it was for a good reason, because he was able to survive. He didn't get submitted, and it was just it wasn't a great fight for him, which means, which is the good reason why they didn't make it a big deal out there trying to put, make him stand out in the cage or something after a loss. It's like, he's not going to be the happiest, but hey, that's a good upside to that loss, is he learned he could survive, and he did, so he got his belt. Like, that to me makes more sense than giving somebody a belt because they knocked somebody out in the cage and you just wanted to make a spectacle of it. But those are just my thoughts. Anyway, let's get to the main card fights, starting with Ty Miller defeating Billy Ray Goff in the first fight of the night on the main card. 3rd round TKO via punches. basically like Miller's length and striking accuracy were is what made the difference in this fight. He consistently found Goff, at the end of his strikes. He was landing good body shots, head kicks, and uppercuts. Just keeping Goff at the end of his punches was crucial, as you can see in that top picture. And then, following through and landing good shots, as you can see in that lower picture as well. Sorry, he just was saying it's something that has to be earned through complete mastery. You have to know every sub and counter to that sub. I think he was saying he's in the Hall of Fame. No black belt. Okay. Thriller Miller reminds me of Steve Urseg. They both fight very... Oh, yeah. I could see that. I feel like Miller has a little more of the... that edge to him to really, get in there and make something happen. Urseg, that's how Urseg was at first. And I feel like he's gotten away from that a little bit. And I think he needs to find that hunger again. But Miller definitely has it. And he looked good in this fight against Goff. Goff's problem was just getting inside that length of Miller and not being able to defend well against those punches. He just kept getting shit landed on him, and as the fight went on, he just kept absorbing more and more heavy damage, and of course it wore on him, and he got finished in the 3rd round. Where are we at? Hold on. See, this is... What the hell? Okay, there we go. Yeah, in the 3rd round, he was able, Miller was able to find that finish, and Goff just had taken enough, and that's just kind of how it goes. What was I gonna say? I lost my spot here. Let's see. I wanted to see Miller's. So this keeps Miller at undefeated, 8-0. He was coming into this 7-0. He did get a performance of the night bonus with this. Oh Jesus. He did get a performance of the night bonus with this performance in this fight against Billy Ray Goff, and that puts him at two wins in a row in the UFC, and 2 performance of the night bonuses in a row as well. Adam Fugit by TKO in the 1st round for his first fight, and then in the Contender Series he won a unanimous decision to get into the UFC. So good showing for Ty Miller. Chances of BJJ belts after power slap events. Oh man,
it's gonna be bad, bro. It's gonna be bad.
The corner for Billy kept saying circle the entire fight, which gassed him out. Made him a target every time he stopped circling. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got to work on that tactic and technique, if they, and also, his cardio, if that's the way they want him to fight. They definitely need to get that going and make it better for him. So I mean, basically, just fighting at range and having precision, was able to get the win. Miller was able to get the win in the 3rd round, early on in the 3rd round too. So good statement performance for him, continuing to be undefeated in the UFC as well as overall in his career. So we'll see what he has coming up next, what kind of opponent they give him, and that brings us over to the women. Apparently, Goff and his team were downing pizza on fight week before the weigh-ins. Miller violent, I like him. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, that's a bad thing if that's the case. You gotta stay disciplined, and far stretch for me to talk about something like that. But when you think about the fight game, and when you talk about fighters and their lead ups to the fights, if their weight cuts are bad, or they're drinking in the process of in their fight camp, or they don't get good sleep, they have outside drama, they have controversies or fucking injuries. Everybody has injuries, but when it comes down to it, it's what kind of injuries are happening, or how they take care of themselves leading up. And that, to me, from my understanding of everything I've seen throughout the 20 years I've been watching this sport, I feel like is always a thing that needs to be paid attention to, and those are the guys that suffer the most. Not everybody can be John Jones doing cocaine and drinking and hanging out with strippers leading up to their fight, barely ever even training, and still go out there and get a dominant win. just doesn't happen that way for everybody. So being naturally talented like that is a special thing, and that's why a lot of people hold that in high regard. So but anyway, sometimes I'm reminded how some of these fighters aren't too professional. Ihor eats pizza and missing weight, so did Ty and Goff. Some of these guys just don't take it seriously. Not at all. Remember fucking what's his name, the Black Beast, eating fucking, remember that story about him eating ribs before he got into the cage, and then he was like running out of the cage because he had to take a shit after. You know, there's things like that. I mean, he might have still won, but you know, it's just not the best way to go about that kind of shit. So anyway, for the women, in the second fight of the night on the main card, we had a strawweight fight between Alex Tainara and Amanda Lemos. And Tainara 15-1 overall now with this win by unanimous decision over Amanda Lemos. You know, it was a competitive fight for the most part, but Tainara just really had the upper hand on Lemos. You know, Lemos was doing decent earlier on in the beginning of the fight and stuff. Her, you know, her power showed up a little, and but Tainara just kind of stayed composed and showed she could handle the pressure, and you know, not really get dragged into like a crazy brawl. So Tainara just kind of you know, she kept calm. She was able to, you know, win the exchanges over the 3 rounds, and then besides the moments that Lemos had, Lemos just couldn't, you know, generate the kind of performance that would sustain, you know, being able to win throughout the entire fight. You think everyone would follow how the champs diet themselves, but apparently that's not the case. It's honestly surprises me. Yeah, it's because, you know, everybody does it, you know what I mean? You find something that you can get away with or something like that, and you take advantage of that, and you forget about everything else. Hey, what's up, Anthony Smith? Amanda biggest moments were when she stuck to straight punches, problem being Lemos kept looping her punches. Yeah, and I feel like she has that issue a lot, you know what I'm saying? She just kind of gets sloppy with it, I guess. And then when something really starts like not working for her, it seems like she gets down on herself and just starts throwing just crazy shit. She doesn't stay composed, I guess. Hey, what's up, Antoine? How you doing? Not too bad of a weekend, man. I'm happy to be back home. I'm actually Anthony Smith, believe it or not. Sure, I believe it. If it is, you know, good luck on your journey to proving you're innocent. I hope you get the help you need. But I can't even keep a straight face. Wouldn't that suck though if it actually was Anthony Smith and I'm over here like fucking, oh man. I was joking, I'm not actually Anthony Smith. I know. That's why it's funny. I'm just a huge Smith fanboy. All right. Hey man, listen, I just hope he gets the help he needs. I really do. Where was Smith in the analyst desk? He's been a staple, but he's been gone for the last 2 weeks. Man, Junior, I hope you're trolling, bro. I think you know what happened. But if not, well, we will enlighten you. But anyway, good for Alexa Tainara. She's been looking pretty good in her past few fights. She's 4-0 in the UFC. She's got all decision wins except for that first one against Molly McCann, where she got a performance of the night bonus with her rear naked choke submission in the first round. And then every other fight has been a unanimous decision. Luma Lukbunmi, Bruna Brazil, and now Amanda Lemos. And obviously Amanda Lemos being a higher level opponent, it's a great win for Tainara, continuing to be undefeated in the UFC, and you know, 15-1 overall, not bad. You think Smith might do real time like 20 years? I don't think he's gonna do. I don't think so, man. I think that I think if he does any time, it might be a year, maybe a couple. I don't think he does anything crazy. I mean, that's kind of crazy, but yeah, see, Rain says it too. No, couple years, if any. I think he, for some reason, will get away with, like, you know, just probably like probation type shit. But you know, he's got to be careful doing that, because if he loses it again out in public and he gets the cops called, you're on probation, you're gonna wind yourself up in jail again. So yeah, who knows? I hope he's just Diddy almost out. That's true, man.
Hey, no Diddy, man, no Diddy.
That's true. But hey, that's fucked up. Yep, that's how you get caught up. Yeah, man, it's that cycle, bro. So even if he's on probation, he's got to watch out. And being that we didn't hear about him being in a bunch of trouble and shit beforehand, I don't know that it's gonna. I'm just hoping it was bad lack of judgment, bad mental health. He gets the help he needs, he straightens up, and he doesn't have these problems anymore. And because he's got a family and shit, man, I want to see that work itself out better too. Suge Knight out too. Damn.
Hey, listen, you guys.
I don't even know how to respond to that one. Oh man, it's fucked up. Anyway, moving on. We had Yadier Del Valle versus Darren Elkins. Man, the damage is over for now, because he did retire after this 35-second fight. Del Valle just caught him with that left hand and dropped him, as you can see. Oh, bro, gonna need another beer. Served 5 of 9. I'm surprised he only got 9 too out of all that shit. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
No, he's not, apparently. But yeah, so I mean, Del Valle just came out aggressive and just put his hands on Elkins right away. And when it comes down to it, Elkins can take a lot of damage, but I think that's why he decided, I mean, I think he decided to retire before this anyway, but I think it kind of solidified it for him, losing like this. He had already kind of talked about it being, a retirement regardless of the result or whatever, but he went out on a bad note, and that's unfortunate for him. 29-13 overall, and 19-12 in the UFC. That's crazy, man. 29 UFC featherweight appearances, 18 UFC wins, and 4 post-fight bonuses. Del Valle, just a great showing. I mean, obviously, with Elkins talking about retirement and stuff, it's kind of one of those things a lot of people say once you start talking about it, it's kind of over for you, but especially for somebody like him. But it's unfortunate he didn't even get a chance to really like get the fight going. 35 seconds in, gets knocked out, not out cold, but these drops are wild. Thanks, man. I'm trying to come up with the good ones to put in here. I'm just actually remembering to use them today too. So but yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for the damage, but he did retire, and I hope there's a lot of talk about him probably going to BKFC, which, listen, for the most part, I say his name is the damage. I worry for him in the BKFC because you will suffer a lot of damage in that sport. But it does seem like right up his alley. It's just, how is his chin gonna hold up? How's he gonna do without the gloves? I know the gloves aren't a big difference when there goes from 4 ounce to nothing, but it's still a difference. And then you're not doing MMA anymore, you're just dirty boxing type shit. So how is that going to fare for him? I don't know. We'll see if he actually winds up over there or whatnot, but I wish him nothing but the best, man. The damage, that it's a horrible tattoo, but listen, he lived up to his name. He always got a lot of damage, but he still got a lot of wins too. In the end, it is what it is. UFC retirees should be immediately signed to UFC BJJ now. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they don't have anybody over there, but I don't know what they're doing with all that. It's kind of strange. That could honestly be used for it, but I could be wrong. No, I mean, no, you're probably right. The thing is I don't think they want to rely on that, and I don't think they want to have anybody vying to just be in the BJJ tournament or whatever you want to call them. It's only Gilbert Burns signed to UFC. Oh, is he signed? I didn't even know he was signed there. Holy shit. I think they're just trying to keep these things separate. You know, Dana said that about slap fighting too and stuff like that, but who knows, man. Sooner or later things will happen. But yeah, moving on. You know, congrats on his retirement. Unfortunately, it went bad for him in his last fight, but Darren Elkins, hopefully you know, he gets opportunities in the future that aren't gonna wear too much on his mental status and his and hopefully there's no brain damage on top of the regular damage. Bryce Mitchell did it too. That was interesting. Oh, really? In UFC BJJ? Okay, I have really not been paying attention to that, so fuck. Maybe I need to pay attention. Jake Paul reached out to damage. Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? But let's move on. We had the co-main event, Diego Ferreira versus Billy Q. Listen, man, I went with Billy Q in this fight because I was kind of counting on him in the same manner that I was counting on Salkilld. The problem is though with Billy Q is that he doesn't have the kind of skills that Salkilld has. He's a good fighter, but Ferreira just looked lots of people on Q. Yeah, man, I really was just. Ferreira's just older, you know, 42 years old. He doesn't really, I don't want to say he looks 42, but just in the end, really, with Ferreira is his skill. I mean, his boxing was like, his striking was clean. He was putting together some crazy combinations, but on the opposite side of that, I will say Billy Q being able to take that striking, like getting hit. Do you do Tapology? Yeah, I do. I try not to rely on it too much though, because fucking you know, like I actually have it up on my screen right now, and I try not to rely on it too much because there's so many fucking pop-ups and ads that sometimes it just gets stuck and it's stupid. And on top of all of that, it does give me all the information that I want, and that's why I do like to use Tapology. So a lot of times, you know, even the odds that I give you guys are coming from Tapology, whatever odds they have on there. I know it's not like the best one to go off of, but it's just, you know, an idea of what the odds are looking like at least. But I mean, the fact that they give you, you know, how they won or lost their last few fights, what their last fights were, all of that shit, like their nicknames, everything, man, their strength of schedule type shit. That's why I like Tapology. I just wish that they, you know, didn't have so many ads and pop-ups that clutter everything and use up a lot of CPU on your computer. And on top of that, ads make you almost pay. Yeah, and at this point now they're offering you know, a $2.99 a month paywall to not have any of the ads. But it's like, bro, you're fucking you know, you're fucking basically forcing me to pay for it because of the fact that the ads are so bad. It's like shit. It's like the whole thing with the iPhone where they're like, or any phones where they're like, when the new ones come out, the old ones slow down. It's like, you know, it's like it's almost like that thing, you know. They're doing something to cause you to have to spend more money, and that's kind of fucked. So it's annoying. Oh shit, right on, Antoine, here you go.
Smoke weed every day.
Patchy Mix fights in 2 days. What the fuck? Where's he fighting at? Anyway, yeah, I was on the Billy Q. I was on Billy Q's side on this fight, but Ferreira just looked too good, man. Billy Q, you know, he tried to throw, you know, put the pressure on and throw the volume, but and you know, fight a high-paced fight, or a brawl really is kind of what he gets into most of the time. But Ferreira just, you know, he was too composed. He mixed up his boxing and his grappling really good. Like I said, his striking was crisp. He was putting together some fucking amazing combinations. Yeah, man, it's good for the mind. That's what I say. Not everybody has good times with it, as far as what you're talking about, Xavier. But for me, it's always, you know, been a good, you know, a decent thing for me, especially as I've gotten older. But in the past, you know, of course, you get in trouble and shit. But now, you know, there's a lot of good uses for it, and I'd rather do that than drink most of the time, to be honest with you, when it comes down to it. But you know, drinking is more accepted in a lot of ways, which is kind of sad because it's actually worse for you, but it is what it is. And if I'm not smoking, I definitely drink. Yeah, exactly, Xavier. That's exactly the route I was talking about, man. So I say shit, if you enjoy it and you can keep it not being a problem, then fucking, you know, do the damn thing. So anyway, moving on to the main event. Let's see. Well, actually, for Fajeda, at 42 years old, like what's next? You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's a vet. He's got a technical game, you know, and he's still competing with younger UFC lightweights. So like, what do we, you know, what happens with him? I don't know. If alcohol was made today, it wouldn't pass health regulations. It's got grandfathered in. Yeah. So, you know, I think alcohol is fucked, honestly. And I say that as I'm sitting here drinking it, you know what I mean? But like I've said in the past, I can have a couple drinks and stuff and be cool, and not have to worry about it, you know, being a whole horrible thing. Luckily, I got out of my phase of alcohol being a bad thing for me. So it's a fucked up thing. But you know, I still do it. I enjoy a drink or two. I don't have to get fucked up every time I drink. So that's just what I rely on, is, you know, I don't have to, so it's good. But I do, you know, I do crave it. I do enjoy a drink, and sometimes there's just days where I'm just like, I really want a drink. I really need a drink, so let's do it. You know, in the end, it's a matter of making sure you don't go too crazy with shit. That's the biggest thing. So let's move on though. For Diego Fajeda, I don't know. I don't know what's next for him, but you know, if he keeps looking, let me look real quick. He did get a bonus, by the way. Fight of the night bonus for this fight overall. It was a unanimous decision win by Diego Fajeda. So Billy Q, you know, showing his durability and not getting taken out of there, even though he got a lot of big punches landed on him. Fajeda was on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost to Grant Dawson and Alex Hernandez before this fight. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak, both having performance of the night bonuses on those against Rebecca and Michael Johnson. So, you know, he's a streaky fighter. He'll lose some, he'll win some, but when he wins, he gets bonuses, and that's because he puts on great performances like that. So yeah, let's move on to the main event though. Have you guys ever had moonshine? Dude, yes. The fake kind and the real kind. The fake kind meaning the kind that you buy that say it's moonshine at the store. That's not real moonshine. Real moonshine is basically rubbing fucking alcohol. Mexican moonshine is even worse. Bacanora or whatever it's called. Holy shit, I just threw up in my mouth. That's how bad that shit is. It'll fuck you up though. It's gasoline for sure. But moonshine is rough. When I was younger, I got alcohol poisoning. Fuck, man. I'm pretty sure I had it at some point or another too. Just never had to have my stomach pumped or nothing like that. Thank God. There's a few times where, listen, I used to be a puker. Like the next day, wake up with a bad headache, a bad hangover, and puking my brains out. And I'm talking like calling dinosaurs type puking. That shit was not fun, and that's a lot of the reason why I don't drink like that anymore. Is it worse than Everclear? Dude, yeah, I think so. But Everclear is pretty fucking bad. I mean, Everclear is basically moonshine in a little bit of a different form, but Jesus, yeah, it's fucking bad. But yeah, man, I don't like the hangovers. I get really bad headaches already as it is, and alcohol just makes that fucking worse. The next day, waking up with headaches and shit and I'm puking, man. Puking to the point where I think I'm fucking hurting my throat and my feeling like I'm bursting blood vessels in my eyes and fucking feel like I'm gonna have an aneurysm because my head has so much pressure from the puking. It's bad. It's super bad. But I mean, some people might think,
pussy boy, you pussy.
But you know what? I drank my fair share of alcohol back in the day, and I just don't want to feel that way anymore. So anyway, yeah. So Quillan Salkilld versus Mateusz Gamrot. Like, you know, we talked about it in the beginning, and I was just super impressed by Salkilld, man. The fact that he was able to get a first round submission. You know, it didn't get out of the first round. But so there's still some stuff to show there, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he could have gone a few more rounds and maybe his lack of cardio would have showed up or something like that, like we were talking earlier. But the thing is that, you know, a lot of people were against Salkilld in this fight, thinking that Gamrot had way too much for him when it came to the wrestling and grappling, you know, the scrambles. Gamrot has a way of finding a limb and trying to take it out. And Quillan's acne scars make him look more, yeah, man, it actually makes him look older too, especially with that mustache. I mean, that makes it even more like he looks older. But yeah, it does give him a certain kind of look. But dude, he's fucking talented, man. 4 minutes and 25 seconds into the first round, he gets a rear naked choke on Gamrot and is able to get the finish after he almost got a knee bar or an ankle lock. I'm not even sure what the fuck it was, because they rolled into several different situations there where Gamrot had Salkild's leg, and you know, it looked pretty close for a little bit there, but Salkilld was able to get out of it and, you know, get into a dominant position of his own and put the hooks in and get that choke. You know, Gamrot got out of it one time, but Salkilld stuck with it, kept the position, and was able to lock in the choke. So yeah, and the fact that he was able to take him down too at one point in time, you know, showing that he wasn't just surviving like the wrestling of Gamrot, but that he was actually on the offensive himself. And then, you know, taking the back, putting in the body triangle, you know, after getting the hooks and stuff, like all those things, it just looked like good technique and good skill level. And, you know, it was just a good showing for Salkilld. So the only thing that was missing was that we didn't get multiple rounds, you know, to see like his cardio and see how his durability is going to be later on. But in the end, it's still a great showing for Salkilld, especially with people just doubting him. He was the slight favorite over Gamrot, even though a lot of people can't believe he beat Gamrot faster than Charles did. Yeah, man. Yeah, and you know, like I said, it wasn't just a fluke fucking ooh gotcha type shit. He had to face some adversity. He had to fight his way out of bad positions and then find his way into a good position and put himself there in order to get that win. And look what he did. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just shows just great skill on his part, and we'll see if he can hold that, if that can hold true in the later rounds when he is not able to get the finish in the first round, you know, because if you look at all of his fights, I think he's only got one fight that went to decision so far in the UFC. He's 6-0 in the UFC, which is obviously already impressive. His second fight in his UFC career is the only fight he hasn't gotten a bonus for, was a decision against Yanil Asmus, 4 first-round finishes in a row. Yeah, so his first fight was a first-round finish, 19 seconds, and got a bonus against Jubilee, TKO. He got a head kick knockout against Hakparas in the first round with a bonus. Jamie Malarkey, he subbed him in the first round, which I kind of forgot about. I forgot he subbed Malarkey. But yeah, he finished him in the first round. Finished Beneil Dariush by TKO in the first round. And then now Gamrot in the first round. 4 first-round finishes in a row, all with bonuses as well. So Salkilld is the truth, man. He's just showing more and more that he's you know, worthy of being good, being called good, and on his way to great if he keeps this up. So I definitely respect his game. I definitely don't doubt him, that he can continue to move up on the ladder on competition and make it good fights. So yeah, that's really it for that one. I mean, Salkilld just showed improved, and I picked him, and I was actually very happy with the fact, because I got scared with that leg lock that Gamrot had him in, and I was like no, don't go out like this. And the fact that he was able to turn around and get a submission of his own was fucking awesome. So yeah, I was impressed by that performance, and it was a fun fight to watch. So we'll see what he does next. Let's move into the prelims and talk about those for just a second as we get to the women. Back to the women. First fight of the night in the prelim card. And we had, it's kind of, I laughed because I told my wife when we were watching this fight, I was like, 4-0 looks like that really scrappy like Mexican chick who talks a bunch of shit, doesn't take any shit from anyone, and wants to scrap at every sideways look you give her, and then she'll be the first one to jump on some dude's back when they're like fighting her man or some shit. She just looks like that type. Turns out she is pretty fucking scrappy. GG versus 4-0 should have taken fight of the night. You know, I would agree with you, except for the fact that I think that it was super impressive. I mean, I know 4-0 was landing big shots, as you can see in these pictures. 4-0 was landing big shots on Canuto, but I think the shots that Billy Q was taking from Fajeda with those crazy combinations he was landing, I think the performance that Fajeda put on, and the fact that Billy Q was able to survive all of that, I think that that's why it edged it out for me for being the fight of the night. But I do think that these women put on a damn good performance as well. 4-0 was just landing a lot of shots on Canuto, and I was surprised that Canuto was actually hanging in there. She got wobbled a few times, but you think he'll challenge for a belt in a year? You talking about Salkilld? I think he has potential to, but I think that he needs to be careful because you know, like I said earlier, if he doesn't show a lot more with how far, you know, when we just keep seeing first round finishes, it doesn't show you a ton. Now he's showing us a lot of different looks now that he's got a couple submissions under his belt, but I think that we need to see how he does when he gets taken into deeper waters. Obviously he has one decision win as well, and that was against Ashmoose, but you know, I don't really even remember that fight, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'd like to see a little more from him, so we'll see. Do you think Gamrot retires soon? No, I think he's good for now. I don't think he's gonna retire anytime soon, not like super soon. Did I like Larry Fitzgerald? Yeah, I liked him. It wasn't like a favorite of mine or anything, but I thought he was cool. Anyway, 4-0 with this win against Gigi Canuto. She had the unanimous decision win, but it was an entertaining fight. I will give her that. That puts her at 10-1. But yeah, she just they both came out swinging, man. They were definitely exchanging punches, and you know, 4-0 kept wobbling Canuto. She did it a couple times, but you know, Canuto also landed some shots of her own, some good body shots, and had some pretty clean boxing later on in the fight. But for the most part, 4-0 just kind of took over and was able to get the win by unanimous decision, 29-28 on all the scorecards. I thought Gigi pulled the armband out the grave in the third and was screaming at my screen when 4-0 escaped and went radical. Yeah, man, this was it really was an entertaining fight, to be honest with you. It just, you know, when you see the punches land and you're like, oh, these girls just don't have that kind of power to finish the fight. That was the first thing I thought of, and then I was just like, or is Canuto just like one of those chicks that can handle the damage, you know, just durable? I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit of both, but I think that's the only thing that keeps it from being like super standout performance, you know what I mean? If she would have been able to really drop her a couple times, no, it's all good, man. I still see it's still on my screen at least, so but yeah, I mean, it was a good fight overall, so I can't really talk shit. I mean, that was a good showing from the women coming out, first fight of the night. So then we get to the second fight of the night with who I was talking about earlier, Juliana Miller versus Ravina Oliveira. And I was thinking Oliveira might come out and do some damage against Miller, but Miller just showed why she won the Ultimate Fighter. I can't stand the looks on Miller's face when she's fighting. Her hair pulled back the way it is, and before it was suspended for diuretic PED. Yeah, I remember that. Hey, what's up, Tyler Fish? I haven't seen you in a minute, man. Welcome back. Appreciate you for coming back. Yeah, Miller just it drives me crazy the way she does her hair and the faces she makes when she's fighting. But you can't deny her skills, and she was able to, you know, show those skills off against Ravina Oliveira, getting the second round win by submission, rear naked choke. as you can see in that lower picture. Oliveira is now 0-4 in the UFC, so it's not like a super fucking impressive win for Miller, considering Oliveira was coming in at 0-3 in the UFC with 3 losses, 1 by submission, 1 by TKO, 1 by decision. So she had already done the the rounds on losing in every which way, and then she gets another submission loss here. She's mouth breathing when she fights too. Yeah, I think that's why she has such an ugly look on her face all the time. Juliana Miller makes weird ass grimace when she fights. Yeah, her hair doesn't help. That hair just doesn't look good on her. I don't know. I mean, sure, of course they got to pull their hair back because they don't want to get yanked or shit, but man, it's bad. Anyway, she moves up to 5-4. I think it had been a minute since, so she's 3-3 in the UFC now. Oh no, she fought in February where she lost to Carly Judice. So she's 3-3 in the UFC now after losing her last fight and now winning this one. So not a great showing overall in the UFC, kind of a 500 showing, but she's showing some promise, and she showed some good skills in this fight. Her wrestling and submission game is really what handled this fight for her and got Oliveira down, and was able to open up that rear naked choke and be able to lock it in. So Miller's ground game is great. She's okay on the feet. I think she's got some work to do still, but good win for her there. Next up, we have Miles Johns versus Gianni Vasquez, after Miles Johns was supposed to be fighting Raul Rosas Jr.'s brother. Julie was 1 fight away from being 5-5, which is personally the worst record I've seen from a UFC fighter. Yeah, Miles Johns was supposed to fight Raul Rosas Jr.'s brother, but I guess he got injured. So Vasquez takes over and jumps in less than, I think, 48 hours before the fight, and Miles Johns is able to get the win here. He got a first round TKO 3 minutes and 9 seconds in. Jesse Rosas was supposed to be the opponent, but I guess he was medically unable to compete. I thought it was an injury, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. So Vasquez came out aggressive, as he should, considering he was a late replacement, and not really fully ready for that fight. But Gianni had a fight scheduled 2 weeks from now at flyweight. I guess that's canceled due to the KO. Yeah, I bet it is. Usually when they do move them up like that, and they had a previously scheduled fight, it's usually it's usually canceled unless they win with no damage. But yeah, I would assume so. So I guess Vasquez kind of looked okay in the beginning, when he first came out, just coming out aggressive and stuff, but Miles Johns was able to, he stayed composed, and instead of panicking, he just stayed cool and calm, and was able to put some stuff together to really take over and make Vasquez look like he wasn't ready for that fight whatsoever. He landed a huge step in left hook that dropped Vasquez, and then finished up with the ground and pound, as you can see in that lower picture, which actually looks pretty crazy. It looks like he's bouncing him off the damn mat. So yeah, that was a good win for Miles Johns, even though it was a late replacement, for him. He, as much as his opponent might not have been ready for him, he wasn't really ready for his opponent either, but still fighting on the night that he had planned. I guess he hadn't even been scheduled for that fight too much earlier than that. So, crazy circumstances, but Miles Johns comes out with another finish for the night, and got the TKO in the first round. And that brings us over to Manuel Souza versus Richie Miranda. This fight was a unanimous decision win for Souza. I didn't really watch every single second of this fight, but the times that I did watch, it didn't feel like a super exciting fight for the most part, but I could be wrong. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. I meant to go back and watch it again too, but I never got a chance to. So but it's just one of those fights that was just there kind of for me. And Miranda, you know, he kind of, if you were a fighter, would you take a fight on 2-day notice? Up awake, just to get signed? I guess it depends on where I'm at with my career outside of the UFC. You know what I mean? Obviously, the most guys outside of the UFC are trying to get to the UFC. So any opportunity that you get to take to get signed and hopefully get in is important. And you know, a lot of times you would probably want to take advantage of that. But you see a lot of guys come in, have like 2 or 3 fights and lose most of them, if not all of them, and then you're out already anyway. Sometimes you can win one, lose one, and be out. So it's like, you know, maybe it's best to make the best opportunity possible for you. And if you got it once, you might be able to get it again. You know what I mean? So like, maybe it's not the best idea to just jump in if you don't think you're ready. But even if you think you're ready and it's a bad matchup, it almost is worse for you if you jump in there. Hey, what's up, Christian? How you doing? Welcome back, man. Up 2 weight classes, no less. Yeah, I just feel like sometimes it's worse for you if you come in and lose badly. You know what I mean? They don't always give you the benefit of the doubt that you were a late replacement or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't always think it's the best idea, but either way, you know, there's not, I don't really have a whole lot on this fight except for, you know, Souza gets the win, 15-1 overall. Miranda, I think, was on this was his UFC debut. Yeah, UFC debut, and he gets a loss to Souza. And you know, he didn't get finished. It was just a unanimous decision. But if you were undefeated, would you risk your record? I don't know, man. I think it's a tough one. Souza beat Balaji Oki by TKO in his first fight in the UFC, with a bonus on that one as well. But he wasn't able to get the finish here against Miranda, making his UFC debut. So, but yeah, I don't know if it depends on the opponent. You know, there's a lot of things that kind of would depend on for me, especially the money and shit too. You know what I mean? But next up, we had the big boys in the heavyweight division. Jose Montana De Silva, I think is fucking his full name, but he was able to get a submission by neck crank over Louis Sutherland. And you know, it was kind of as you can see in that lower picture, kind of an awkward submission there. But Montana was making his UFC debut, and you know, just showed off his submission game basically at heavyweight, which isn't something that we see a lot of. You know, it wasn't like he was showing super technical skills, but you know, he was able to get it down to the ground. What's up, Black? How you doing? Yeah, so you know, he was able to get it. He was able to transition to Sutherland's back pretty quickly. 1 minute and 50 seconds into the first round, he's able to get that submission. So you know, as a debut for Montana, that was, you know, that's a good showing for him. Louis Sutherland isn't doing the best in the UFC. He's 1-3 now. He won his last fight against Tai Tuivasa, but he's lost all 3 other fights in the UFC, including this one. 2 by submission and 1 by TKO. He was one of the heel hook victims of Walter Walker in his first fight in the UFC. And then he lost to Brando Pericic by TKO in the first. All of his losses have been in the first round. And then he didn't even finish Tai Tuivasa. He just went to unanimous decision with him. So, your chat's always great. I know. Louis terrible. Ruined my sweep. Oh shit. That sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Louis Sutherland, man. He looked like one of those guys that had a lot of potential in the beginning, but yeah, he's just been a disappointment basically, as far as I'm concerned. To me, yeah, he just hasn't shown up and done anything of any note. Yeah, anyway, moving on to Dair Nurgazai versus Bruno Lopez. This one was yeah, this was pretty vicious finish here for Nurgazai with that uppercut and left hook that he landed to finish the fight. 4 minutes and 59 seconds into the first round. Almost got out of that first round for Lopez, but yeah, Nurgazai was just super composed and, you know, just kind of showed that he knew what he was doing in there. He just he looked dialed in, and instead of, you know, rushing for a finish and stuff like that, he just kind of picked his shots and you know, and was measured, and it was pretty impressive actually. You think he was really on true PEDs? Who are you talking about, Antoine? I'm not sure. Anyway, the turning point. Oh, I'm sorry. Nurgazai, what was I saying? Fuck, I totally lost my made 600 on PFL and 1.5k on UFC. Damn, that's crazy. 600 on PFL too, huh? Oh, Louis Sutherland. Oh shit, I don't know, man. That's not even something I was really even thinking about, to be honest with you. Steve Asplund by KO cooked my 30k parlay. Oh shit. Damn, that sucks. Yeah, but as far as Lopez almost got out of this the first round, you know, he had 1 second left and wasn't able to get out of there. The ref called the fight before that second ended, so you know, Lopez was able to get back up after 1 point when Nurgazai had dropped him, and but then, you know, Nurgazai just kind of basically turned it around and got him back down quickly, and dropped him again. So it was a good win for Nurgazai. It was a pretty fun first round, as we saw, you know, down to the last second, and he gets the TKO win there. That puts him at 12-2, and Nurgazai is now 2-2 in the UFC. He lost his first 2 fights by submission, and now won his last fight by decision and this fight by TKO in the first round. So, you know, 2-2 now in the UFC. We'll see what he gets next. Bruno Lopez is now 14-4 overall, 1-3 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight losing streak where he lost all 3 by TKO, 2 in the first round and 1 in the second. That was to Dustin Jacoby, Navajo Sterling, and now Dyer Nurgazai. So not a good run for Bruno Lopez. We'll see what happens with him after this. And that brings us to the last fight on the prelims before the main card, and it was Asplund versus Guilherme Pat. And Asplund gets the win by unanimous decision, which apparently killed Christian's big parlay, which sucks, man. I'm sorry. I would have thought Asplund by KO as well, but Pat was able to survive all 3 rounds, and Steven Asplund gets the win by decision, unanimous decision at that, 29-28. But Guilherme Pat, you know, his jab and his leg kicks were effective early, but you know, it didn't last all the way through the fight. Asplund spent, you know, most of the fight just kind of pressing forward, you know, eating some shots. That's kind of what happens. That's how he is. He takes a lot of shots to give some, and then he stays aggressive, and you know, sometimes it catches up to him. His cardio isn't really the best out there, but you know, it is the heavyweight division as well. So Asplund just, you know, landed the bigger shots overall. Pat ripping hooks in the second round had me scared that Asplund was getting flatlined. Yeah, it's weird how he was able to, like, you know, he was able to kind of take those shots too, man. It's like Pat was looking good for a second there, but you know, it wasn't like the best fight of the night or anything like that, but you know, Asplund showed his toughness, you know, getting through that adversity from those big shots that Pat was landing on him, and you know, upped the activity in the late round, and was able to, holy shit, and was able to sorry, I'm watching something else in the side here too, and was able to, you know, pull out the win and win every single round. So yeah, man, not the best showing overall, but he still gets the win, and that was it for UFC Vegas 120. Let's take a look at the Fight Wheel predictions and my predictions. I went 4-1, and the Fight Wheel went 1-4, which is tough. I took a chance on Salkilld, and I picked him, while the Fight Wheel predicted Gamrot. You know, I thought it could go either way, to be honest with you, but you know, Salkilld really just impressed in that fight. So me and the Fight Wheel both picked Billy Q for that co-main event, and of course Billy Q, you know, he was able to take a lot of those shots, but eventually lost, and we both got that one wrong. Oh shit, you know what? I fucked up. The fight will pick Del Valle as well. Okay, so here we go. I gotta fix this because the fight wheel was actually 2 and 3. So I messed that up. Whatever. I don't need to fix it because it's not like it's official. So the fight wheel was actually 2 and 3. I was 4 and 1 because we both picked Del Valle, and then I picked Tainara over Lemos, and the fight wheel predicted Lemos, and then I picked Miller over Goff. The fight wheel picked Goff. So it was actually 2 and 3 for the fight wheel, 4 and 1 for me. So not too bad on my picks. I've been doing that pretty much the past few weeks in a row, where I have been able to, you know, beat the fight wheel predictions, which are totally random, by the way. I'm just spinning the wheel, and whatever it picks, it picks. For me, I'm putting some thought behind my picks, and maybe it's helping me like really get better with my picks. I'm not sure, but either way, I feel like it's just an extra little something to have fun with here on the show. So I'll just continue to do it as long as you guys don't mind. I think it's a cool thing to do at the end, at least, and see how I pick versus the fight wheel. So but that's how it went. I got the win again over the fight wheel predictions, and yeah, that about does it for UFC Vegas 120. That does it for me here as well. Not a whole lot else to talk about. The PFL in Charlotte went on this past weekend as well. Brian Battle got the win. I talked about Dakota Ditcheva getting injured again after her fight, but she did get the win as well, and it seemed like a decent event. For the most part. I didn't watch it really. I didn't really see a whole lot else about it either, but I do like Brian Battle, so good for him on getting a win there. Other than that, yeah, we'll see. We got UFC 330 coming up next week. I will be previewing that on Thursday, as usual. On Thursdays, we do the preview shows for the upcoming event. So we have UFC 330, Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary, as well as Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. And we will be doing a watch party here for that next weekend. So don't forget to jump back in for the preview of UFC 330 on Thursday. I will be home. Hopefully nothing comes up, so I should be here on Thursday in the studio and ready to go. You think Smith will get real time? I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't think he's gonna get crazy time though. But yeah. Come back on Thursday. Don't forget to like this while you're here, please. If you're not subscribed already, please do that as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when I put out any kind of content or go live. I did put out a short earlier today, and I will be putting out another one later on this week. But yeah, and follow me on all my social media. It's been going across the bottom of the page for most of the show. You can find it in my description and stuff like that too. So that's it for me. I'm out of here. Thanks for everybody's support. Thanks for the interactions in the chat. I appreciate you guys. You keep the show interesting and fun. So thanks again to you guys as well. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.